Super happy to be here today, and above all, happy to have Indrė with me as well. Indrė has built the initiative that she'll share more about in a bit, and I think she's done an amazing job in building the content, and that's what we'll also share about today. So I'll only set the stage, then I'll shut up, and I'll be in the chat and in the Q&A. So if you have any thoughts, questions, put them in the chat, as Chris said, and super happy to engage there as well. Just quickly letting you know, we come from Superside. Superside is a fully remote creative services company, it's a long name. We have no offices whatsoever. We live in the internet. We are in 60 countries. We are in 13 time zones, and AI has been really disruptive in our industry because surprisingly, AI is really, really good at creative work, right? So I don't think a lot of people have foreseen this, but AI is really good at generating creative. So yeah, we decided to take this really, really seriously as a company and went all in on AI adoption. And we have had a bunch of learnings on that pathway, a bunch of tears as well, painful moments during the past, I would say 1 to 1.5 years, more or less. And yeah, not keeping you longer. So I'm handing over to Indrė, and I think we'll start with a question for you all. And if we ask any of those questions, please feel free to share your thoughts in the chat, and then we can continue the discussion. Indrė, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. So as Aki mentioned, my name is Indrė. I am a learning experience designer at Superside, and I'll be taking you today through the rest of our presentation. So I would like to start with a question which sounds, what is the biggest challenge for you when adopting AI? I would like to spend a couple of seconds thinking about it, and please put your answer here in the chat so we can share with everyone. Yeah, I can see someone posted getting started. Yeah, I do share that as well. Approval, safety of internal information, how fast it goes, definitely a big one. Security, yeah, I can see a lot of relevant topics. So yeah, I can tell that you are not alone in this. We at Superside understood very quickly that adopting AI is going to be a major challenge for us and our creatives, and that we needed to find a clever way to make it work for us and not against us. So today we're going to explore how we achieve that. So first we'll talk about the concept of AI as change and how resistance to change comes into major play here. Then we'll discuss what learning strategy we use to address this resistance to change. Next, I'm going to share some specific design tips that are extremely useful in situations like this. And finally, we're going to wrap up by looking into the results that we achieved with our learning strategy. So let's start by acknowledging that AI represents a major shift for creatives, or everyone for that matter. And while we had some early adopters, for the majority of our creatives, it was new, and naturally we faced resistance. Now, imagine the tasks in your work that you spend most of your time on. For instance, it could be storyboarding, content creation, learning needs analysis, and etc. Now, picture there comes this new technology that can handle those tasks for free, and it can do it 10 times faster. So it feels threatening, right? I know it does for me. So this was the reality for our creatives. All these new generative AI tools could create images, videos, and copy in seconds, and it sparked some fears of job loss. AI also felt unfamiliar, complex, intimidating, which made it hard for a lot of people to see its relevance. And as a result, the benefits of AI training, they weren't obvious, and they reduced overall interest and motivation to learn. So to address this, we needed to find a way to reduce the fear around AI and make it more approachable. And microlearning was a major piece in this puzzle. So essentially, microlearning gave us an option to ease learners into the world of AI. And in its essence, microlearning is quick, it's to the point, and most importantly, it's not overwhelming. And 7Taps was a great platform that enabled us to design learning in a way that we wanted and needed. And just for fun, this is some promotional material that we created to show our learners that microlearning can be done anywhere, anytime. And yeah, we had lots of fun while doing this, as you can see. So here comes my favorite part as an instructional designer. In the next chapter, we'll explore what our microlearning strategy looks like. And we'll also explore some practical tips that you can use to design yours. So to introduce our creatives into the world of AI, we decided to create this micro-learning journey that is called Text Prompting for Creatives. And it was meant to teach them some basic prompting techniques that can be implemented immediately in their everyday work. And since text prompting is at the core of most AI tools, we saw it as the perfect starting point. So the journey consisted of 9 modules, each of them taking no longer than 15 minutes to complete. And for each module, we established the basic structure that was meant to be informative, yet practical. And this journey looked as follows. So first, we used a couple of sentences to introduce the essence of the prompting technique. Then we included a screen recording that showed how the application of that technique works in practice. Next, we included a short video up to 60 seconds explaining how it relates to creatives' everyday work. And finally, we inserted a quick exercise asking them to go to ChatGPT and practice it themselves. And here in this slide, you can scan the QR code to see what one of our modules looks like, and you can explore it yourself. So I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. Cool. I hope you were able to do it. If not, no worries. We'll include the QR code at the end as well. So there were some key principles that we used to make sure that our learning journey was a success. The first one being that learning has to be relevant. And we achieved this by taking a few key steps. First, we introduced a real problem for learners to solve in the very beginning of the training. We designed this Wonder Watch campaign, which mimicked the types of customer projects creatives handle in real life, and they had to work on that campaign little by little throughout our learning journey by applying the new prompting techniques. So we also very carefully chose those prompting techniques because they had to be directly applicable to their roles and allow for immediate use. And lastly, we used examples from their daily tasks to show how prompting works. And here you can see one of our prompting example videos. It demonstrates a prompting technique and uses an example scenario from our creatives' work. And using these kinds of videos, demonstrating how a new concept applies to their work, in the end, it helped creatives to understand that AI, it can actually be helpful for them. And it showed them very directly how it can be helpful. And the second principle that we kept is that learning has to be principled. And to be very honest with you, this was a very tricky one to achieve and the one that caused me a lot of headaches while working on this. because AI and prompt engineering, which is essentially what we thought, is a very complex thing to explain. And to do it in a quick module was a real challenge. So first, we had to be ruthless in selecting what information to present. We had to ditch concepts, we ditched sentences, we ditched words, and we did it all to make sure that we introduce only what is necessary. Second, we segmented it into small chunks that took the form of quick lessons and quick chapters within the lesson. And finally, we used simple language explaining such difficult concepts as AI like you would to a 5-year-old. And I remember sitting there all tired and frustrated and just breaking my brain trying to simplify it even further, and even though it seemed impossible. So I would like to show you what the process looked like for me. So there was this chain prompting technique that we needed to introduce to learners. I like it now, but I really hated it in the beginning, and you'll understand why. So this is the official definition that I found. Now please take your time to read it. Did you understand it? I know I needed to read it at least 10 times and do additional research before I properly understood it. So it wasn't good enough for our training. Now let's try and simplify it a bit. Does this sound better? It is indeed shorter, but it still uses complex words. So it's still not good enough for the training that we aspired to have. Now let's simplify it even more. This sounds quite good, right? Essentially, we could use this sentence, but can we challenge ourselves to simplify it even more? Now, this is a sentence that is short, it's easy to understand, and conveys the essence of the idea. And of course, we can always expand, we can explain the context, we can go deeper, and it's very tempting to do it, especially if you know the subject very well. But a very important question is, do learners always benefit from it? Because in some cases, it is more important to make sure that a learner grasps the essence of a subject. And making it simple makes the topic appear less threatening, and it allows us to build on it over time, which is, in the end, the most effective. Now, the third principle that we used was making the learning practical. So it was important for our creatives to apply what they learned right away. So we built that into the training. At the end of each module, we included quick exercises focused on different aspects of the Wonder Watch campaign, the one I mentioned earlier. And this meant that after each module, they would use ChatGPT to practice the prompting technique. And as a result, by the end of the training, they had a fully developed and ready-to-use concept for a customer project. And here you can see some example exercises that we included. These simple yet practical exercises were extremely useful, as they allowed us to show learners that not only they can understand AI, but they are actually capable of applying it effortlessly. And these are some Wonder Watch campaign concepts that learners came up with. And personally, I love this part because it shows immediate results that our learners achieved, and it acts as a confidence boost for everyone. So what did we learn from this journey? Well, most importantly, we understood that quick learnings go a long way when it comes to making learning stick and creating a positive impact. Remember the pushback from our creatives? They found AI too complex, they felt threatened, they struggled to see the relevance. Well, our micro-learning approach addressed these challenges successfully, because simplifying the content made AI easier to understand, practical exercises showed that they could master it, and relevant examples explain why it mattered. And this approach is very universal and it's relevant to every industry or any topic. So feel free to try them out yourselves. And to wrap up, I would like to share the impact that our microlearning journey had over the long run. So firstly, creatives gave highly positive feedback, appreciating the ease, engagement, and time efficiency of 7 taps. Also, previously, we used traditional LMSs where programs felt kind of like a burden, but this new approach reignites creatives' enthusiasm for learning. We also saw immediate use of prompting techniques in customer projects, which was a huge achievement for us. But most importantly, it shifted attitudes for many creatives, because for them, AI became a friend, not a threat. And as a result, we were able to successfully upskill over 200 creatives to use generative AI in customer projects within a year of launching this learning journey. So if there's one thing to learn when it comes to teaching new big topics, especially if there's resistance, I would say make the overwhelming seem less scary to ease learners in. And microlearning turned out to be the perfect strategy to do it. So as I'm handing this over to Christopher, please share in the comments what is one learning that you are taking away from this session. I would really, really like to see what stuck with you. And if you missed the QR code earlier, you can access our examples course here. And thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I loved, so if you don't know about me, I'm a big fan of AI and I do a lot of work in the AI space. And what I really, really loved about what you did there was breaking it down, not only for other people, but also how did you leverage it? I think there's a lot of talk about it, but a lot of people struggle to go, right, but like, what do I do with it? So that was absolutely fantastic. Can we get a final round of emojis for our esteemed speakers on that? That was great. And to so many of the questions, definitely, I'm sure you will have people following up. So thank you both so much for that. That was awesome. And love the slides too. Always ace work on the slides and the storytelling. So thank you so much for being here.